Solving rational equations. In this example, we're going to solve 10 over 6x plus 7 equals 6 over 2x plus 9. Since all I have here is a fraction equals a fraction, I've got a proportion. I'm just going to cross multiply to get started here. So I've got 10 times the quantity 2x plus 9 is equal to 6 times the quantity 6x plus 7. To reduce numbers a little bit before I distribute here, I'm going to divide everything by 2 because I see that 2 goes into 10 and into 6. So it gives me 5 times the quantity 2x plus 9 is equal to 3 times the quantity 6x plus 7. Now let's go ahead and distribute and see where we're at. 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times 9 is 45. Equals 3 times 6x is 18x, and 3 times 7 is 21. Let's try to get all the x stuff on one side, so let's subtract these 10x's away from both sides. That'll give me 45 is equal to 8x plus 21. Now let's subtract the 21 away to try to start getting x by itself. That'll give me, let's see, let's start another row of work here. 45 minus 21 is 24 is equal to 8x. Now we can go ahead and divide by 8 to isolate x. And it looks like x is equal to 3. 24 divided by 8 is 3. Let's check that. If I put a 3 here, I get 18 plus 7. That's 25, so I get 10 25ths on the left side. If I put a 3 here, I get 6 plus 9 is 15, so that's 6 over 15. Let's see, here I can reduce out of 5. I get 2 over 5. And here I can reduce out of 3, I get 2 over 5. 2/5 equals 2/5, that checks. So this answer has to be right, and it can't be wrong. Again, remember, you can pause, you can fast forward, you can rewind, you can do whatever you need to do to pace the lessons so that it works for you. Here's another example. 1 over x plus x over 2 equals x plus 4 over 2x. Not quite as simple because I have 3 different fractions. I don't have just one fraction equals another fraction, so cross multiplying is not going to work this time. But I do notice that I have all these little denominators, and I'm going to identify the LCD. The least common denominator for all these denominators has to be 2x. So what I'm going to do with that LCD is I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by that LCD. What that's going to do for me is clear all the fractions. So let's work on the right side first. It's a little easier on this side because 2x just reduces with 2x, leaves me x plus 4. Here, when we distribute the 2x to the 1 over x, the x is reduced. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus, we distribute the 2x to the x over 2. The 2 is reduced. I have x times x is x squared. Let's get everything on the left side here. I have x squared. If I subtract the x over, I'll have a minus x, and if I subtract the 4 over, I'll have a minus 2. Let's factor this. I know I've got an x and an x, and I need to get to a minus 2, so I need a minus 2 and a positive 1. So it looks like my answers are negative 1 and positive 2. Let's check those back up here. Let's try the 2 first. If I plug in 2, I have a half plus 2 over 2 equals, let's see, 2 plus 4 is 6 over 2 times 2 is 4. A half plus 1, is that equal to, reduce that down 3 halves? Well, yeah, a half plus 1 is 3 halves, so the 2 checks. Let's try the negative 1. 1 over negative 1 plus negative 1 over 2, does that equal, let's see, negative 1 plus 4 is 3 over 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. This is negative 1 plus a half. Negative a half, that's negative 3 halves, that equals this negative 3 halves, that checks. So both answers work, they're both right. We'll keep them both. You go ahead and try this one, so pause the video, give this a try, and then when you're ready to check your answer with mine, press play. Okay, hopefully you noticed that this is a lot like the last problem where I've just got these 3 little denominators, so my LCD is going to be 4x. So I'm going to multiply everything by 4x, and that's going to just clear out fractions for me. 4x, not 40, 4x. So here we go. On the right side, these x's will reduce. I'm left with 7 times 4, or 28. On the left side, 4x reduces with 4x, leaves me a 1 in this term. The 4x, the 4 reduces with the 4, so I have x times 3 is 3x. Let's go ahead and keep solving. Negative 3x equals, if I subtract the 1, I get 27. Divide by that negative 3, and x equals negative 9. Let's check that. If I put in negative 9, I get 1 over negative 36 minus 3/4 equals 7 over negative 9. Let's see if that works. Let's see, if I put this into 36, I'd have negative 1 over 36 minus, how many 36? Let's see, to get this into 36, I'd have to multiply by 9, so I'd have to multiply by 9. That would give me 27/36, so that's negative 28/36. Does that equal 7 over negative 9? Let's see, I can take a 4 out of everything here. That would give me negative 7 over positive 9. Does that equal 7 over negative 9? Yep, that's the same number. It checks. This answer has to be right. It can't be wrong. How'd you do? Next example. Notice I have all these denominators. I have an x, I have an x plus 2, and I have one that has both. So my LCD is just that x times x plus 2, so I'm going to multiply everything by x times x plus 2 to clear out the fractions. Same thing on this side, I'm multiplying by x times x plus 2. On this side, when I multiply here, the x plus 2's reduce out, so I have 2 times x, that's 2x, minus, when I multiply here, the x's reduce out, I just have x plus 2, equals. On this side, everything reduces out, isn't that nice? And I just have the negative 4. So I have 2x minus x minus 2 equals negative 4. 2x minus x is x, minus 2 equals negative 4. We're going to add that 2 to both sides, so x equals negative 2. Let's see if this checks. So we'll plug negative 2 in and see what we get. Well, if I plug negative 2 in right here, ooh, I get a big 0 right there. If I plug negative 2 in right here, I get a big 0 right there. We cannot divide by 0, therefore this answer will not check, and since it's the only answer we have when we reject it, we have no solution for an answer. So this question actually has no solution. Can't be solved. Luckily that doesn't always happen, but sometimes we're going to run into that. That's why we always need to check our answers to make sure they work. Here's another example. Let's give this a shot. I've got x plus 3, I've got x minus 3, I've got x squared minus 9. Recall that x squared minus 9 factors to x plus 3 times x minus 3. So I've got all the factors covered in this one. So let's just multiply everything times x plus 3 times x minus 3. On, that's a 3, on both sides. So I don't have any space right on the left here, so I'm just going to squeeze that up here, x plus 3 times x minus 3. So on the left side, when I multiply the 2 over x minus 3, the x minus 3's will reduce out, and I'll have left the 2 times x plus 3. Minus, when I multiply the 4 over x plus 3's, the x plus 3's will reduce out, I'll have the 4 times x minus 3. Equals. Here everything goes out, I'm just left with the 8 on the top. Let's go ahead and distribute. I have 2x plus 6 minus 4x plus 12. That still equals 8. Combine like terms. 2x minus 4x is negative 2x. 6 and 12 is 18. And that still equals 8. Let's subtract the 18 from both sides. So negative 2x is equal to negative 10. And divide by that negative 2. And we see that x is 5. Now we got to check this. We saw on the previous slide that if we don't check it, we can run into trouble. So plug in the 5. 5 minus 3 is 2, so I have 2 over 2. Minus 5 plus 3 is 8. I have 4 over 8. Does that equal 8 over, let's see, 5 squared is 25. 25 minus 9 is 16. So 8/16 is a half. 1 minus 4/8 is a half. Does 1 minus a half equal a half? Well, yes, it does. So that answer checks. It has to be right. It can't be wrong. I think we have a U-try for you next. Yeah, we do. Go ahead and try this. Pause the video. Oops, let's back that up. Pause the video. Give that a try. As you can see, it's the last one, so give it a good try before we're done here. All right, what I would do, I see the 8, I see the x plus 2, and I see the 2. For me, the common denominator is 8 times x plus 2. 2 goes into 8, 8 goes into 8, and x plus 2. This is all my common denominator. So I'm going to multiply that on both sides. 8 times x plus 2. So let's see the result here. 8 and 1/8 reduces to 1. That leaves me x plus 2. Plus, here the x plus 2's will reduce out. I have 5x times 8 is 40x equals. Here, 2 just goes into 8 4 times. So I got 5 times 4 is 20 times x plus 2. On this side, I can combine x and 40x. That's 41x plus 2 is equal to, distribute here, 20x. 20 times 2 is 40. Let's get all the x's on one side, so let's subtract 20x away from both sides. That gives me x. Actually, that gives me 21x plus 2 is equal to 40. Subtract that 2 away from both sides. So 21x is equal to 38. And now let's go ahead and divide by 21. X equals 38 over 21. This is an answer that I would probably want to check on a calculator instead of doing it by paper or by hand. So I would plug in 1 over 8 plus 5 times 31 21st. Divide that by, or 38 21st. Divide that by 38 21st plus 2 and see if I got 2 1/2, which is 5 halves. Actually, I did it on my calculator and it does come out to 2.5. So therefore, this is the right answer. It can't be wrong. How'd you do? That's our learning target for this lesson. I'll see you in class.